Thank you very much. Stop the timer. So, fourth candidate to speak tonight is Dominic Pegram from the Green Party. You all stand
That better. 1, 2, 1, 2. Firstly, before I begin, it's great listening to Cal talking about proper local issues, and I'm afraid he's going to put me to shame a little bit. My name's Dominic Pegram. Sorry. That's okay. And I'm here representing the Green Party. Now, I have never talked about myself for 5 minutes, so it was a bit of a shock, and I wrote some stuff down, so kind of bear with me, okay? I lived in London. I was born in 1969. I've lived in London, Wales, then Bristol, and I lived with my mum and my sister. And in fact, I had a rather charmed early life. My mum was incredibly hard-working, and she shielded us from my angry and sometimes drunk father, who left when I was 3. It's not a sub-story. Then, one summer day in the 1980s, a 2-hour moment in time changed the course of my sister and my life completely. My sister didn't go to university. I went to Cambridge. I live in a nice house in Jordan's. She doesn't. I'm not brighter than her. I'm not more gifted than her. I'm certainly not better looking than her. But on that day, in the 1980s, I passed my 11 plus, and she failed her 11 plus. Perhaps she was not feeling great that day. Perhaps she just wasn't ready. But from that point on, she labelled herself a failure. And it struck me, even at that time, that was unfair. And I think I've become a little bit obsessed with unfairness. It was at university when I was confronted by another unfairness. The power that people who went to public schools have. It was like a fortress that only those with very guarded social codes and family connections can enter. It was protected by privilege. Fast forward 30 years, I'm the father of 2 adults, still married to Emma, who I met at university, and as I said, we live in Jordan's. I run a successful business in London, and 5 years ago I was confronted with the impact my business was having on climate change. We are now the leaders in commercial sustainable furniture consultancy, and who knew that was a thing? I speak at international conferences and support other companies looking to decarbonise. Climate legislation is coming and will affect those with the smallest resource to deal with them, and I do my best to help. During the pandemic, my mother came to live with me in Jordan's in a studio's flat. If you ever know anything about Jordan's, it's quite a remarkable place in it. It's social housing and it's private housing. And I felt it was now my responsibility to look after her. It's only fair. So, in the past I've marched against the poll tax. I've marched against the illegal Iraq war. I marched alongside multi-faith groups to bring ceasefire in Palestine. On Saturday I marched with other business leaders at the Restore Nature Now march. I am an accidental activist. I'm not a politician, and this is why I'm here. I'm going to read it, I've read this, but I'm going to read this particularly. Access to good education is worse for those on lower income. Access to social care is worse for those on lower income. Access to nature is limited to those on lower income. High rents, there's a greater impact on those on lower income. Cost of living, greater impact on those with lower income. Obesity, greater impact on those with low income. Cost of housing, greater impact on those on lower income. Life expectancy, lower on those with lower income. Political engagement, lower for those on low income. Access to public transport. Okay. Oh, yeah, I did go on a lot, didn't I? So, why vote Green? Well, a Green vote isn't a wasted vote. It is a reminder to whoever gets in power that the climate change must be at the centre of everything they do, and we must hold them accountable. Thank you.